let's get right to it. Yes, I dyed my hair again. I do that. I've been going through a couple of things that make me feel dark and want my hair to get dark. And then once those things are past, then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna dye my hair again. Okay, but I digress. This is the first cup of coffee that I've had in the United States. Yes, in a while. In Ecuador, I got some digestive healthy coffee, and it was basically coffee, I think, mushrooms, and insect shit. And so, but it was very good. Don't get the wrong idea. It was very, very good. So I've been drinking that. I call it my morning steaming cup of bug shit coffee. Over the last, a couple weeks ago, Karen brought some more cups, but Karen, I still have the original Coffee with Bob cup. I don't know if you can see, but it is, yeah, check it out. It has done boatyard duty. I just know I shouldn't be drinking it because of the sugar, because I have like coffee with my creamer person. Okay, but I digress. All right, so with this episode, I have to go over quite a bit of things because I'm sure there's a lot of questions. The first thing I'm going to go over is Bob's storm damage. While we were in Ecuador, probably a week after we got there, the marina called and told me that, well, they didn't call, they emailed and said that 60 knot winds came through the marina and broke our lines, and Bob busted loose, and the two bow lines were the only thing holding it in the slip. This is the cap rail. Okay, hold on. A lot of you will know the cap rail is not in good shape. Okay. And it comes down like this, and it curves, but it's also in two pieces. So this is a pretty custom piece of teak. Now the good news is we bought a organic fruit farm right next to a teak farm. Teak. So that's nice, but it's not exactly easy to get this dimensions and this done. So I might take this piece back with me, or I'm going to reach out to people here, or I'm going to try to use an epoxy adhesive and put it back together that way. Bob suffered a lot more damage than that. And I haven't taken the band-aids off right now. It's all taped up, but there's a block underneath the chain plate that also got busted. And the piece of wood that the chain plate sits on also got busted. This flat area where the tooling comes in also got busted up. So there's quite a few pieces of the cap rail that got ripped off. There's a couple pieces of the rub rail that got ripped off. And so long story short, Bob has some boo-boos, and I'm still assessing. I got back, went over it. I just was really, really sad. I don't want to get into... I just want to get into how to fix the boat. I don't want to get into what happened or how it happened or why it happened. Just, it happened, and too much has gone into Bob. My paint job is destroyed, so I got to do some more painting. But so over the next couple of weeks, I have to make some decisions about whether or not to haul Bob out or try to do it. I do want to replace the chain plates, so this seems like a really good opportunity. I can replace them one at a time, or take them all off and have them all cut. Like I said, I'm really bummed. I am. I can't even pretend to be perky when I'm talking about this, because I mean, you guys know we put a lot of work into Bob, and I was really excited about the summer coming up and the season of sailing, and the East Coast in the spring is really nice, and it looks like we're going to be doing boat projects. So I'm kind of bummed about that. But let's talk about Ecuador. So you may not be on my page. Some of you are on my Facebook page, and you know that Dad and I decided to, instead of taking the boat to the Bahamas, because the weather just seemed like there was storm after storm after storm, and it just didn't look appealing, and we were kind of getting behind the power curve, and Dad wasn't really feeling good, so we decided to not take the boat to the Bahamas, and instead we elected to fly it to Ecuador. It was something a couple of our friends have said, hey, Ecuador is a really neat country, you should check it out. So we did. We said, okay, we're gonna check it out. So we flew to Ecuador. We flew into Manta, which is a fairly new international airport. It's very small. It's simple to fly in. I would say it's not quick because the luggage, you have to sort out the luggage and everything, but it's very easy to manipulate. It's not a lot of steps from when you get off of the plane to where you pick up your taxi. While we were there, we looked at a piece of property. Actually, that same week we got there, we found it was listed at 150-acre organic fruit farm that had been kind of overgrown in areas, but it has mangoes, avocados, and I mean big avocados, not like the itty bitty little avocados you see here. So it has a pool. It's beautiful. I'll do a tour. I'll post a video with a tour of it now that I'm back in the States for a little while. I have done some videoing, but not enough. I've done some drone shots, but not enough. And I will get better at how to do the touring videos. I have a couple of YouTube channels that I personally follow, and I love the way they do their touring videos, and frankly I've got to get better at it, because I think in the moment I'm so excited to be doing what I'm doing in the moment I forget the video. I really need a cameraman to follow me around, as ridiculous as that sounds. You need somebody with a camera who's willing to just go through the awkwardness of holding up a camera, which I'm really not willing to do. So we've had some questions about why Ecuador. Why did you do this? Ecuador is a really fun country. The first top of the list, I would say, is the people. The Ecuadorian people are warm and friendly and helpful, and they love their country, and they love sharing their country and their culture and letting people experience their country and their culture. The second thing I would say is the cost of living. You can have a retirement income that will go a lot further in Ecuador with a much higher quality return on the products that you do buy. Case in point, when we go to a restaurant, you look at $3 to $5 per person for the meal, as opposed to $10 to $15 per person, and that's on the low side. We went to a high-end restaurant and it was about $30 per person, but that was a really high-end restaurant. And I'll go back and I'll get video and show you the grocery stores, the markets. The cities are vibrant, and the people, again, are so kind, and they love to share their country. They are proud of their country. The third, which probably should have been number 2, but is the climate. Dad and I both are really getting to the point where the cold weather is starting to hurt our bones, and going south has been something, we've wanted to do. And the climate in Ecuador is basically 78 to 84, 85. Some days it's a little more humid. In the wintertime you get more rain, so it's more humid. But this climate is just really, really lovely. And the days don't get longer or shorter. They stay the same, 12 and 12 and 12 and 12 and 12 and 12. So it's a very stable daylight. There's stable daylight and there's a stable temperature. And so the Ecuadorian people are very used to this stable timeline and temperature, and they just work. And when they don't work, they enjoy parties, fiestas, and music and dancing. And again, it's just a very beautiful country to tour and to visit. Just they love sharing their country, and we've had a great experience since buying the farm. There was a family that lived on the farm, that lived in one of the caretaker houses, and they offered to stay on and continue working on the farm. And the farm manager had expressed his ideas, and we've learned with the translator, because I know Espanol, no Espanol. So via the Google Translate, we've been able to translate what his ideas are. He grew up in the fields and in the farms, and he is really excited about making this farm productive. So to that end, we've planted 2,500 passion fruit plants. No, we're never ever going to eat 2,500 plants worth of passion fruit. That's a lot of passion fruit. In Spanish, that's maracuya, and it's a fairly large product in Ecuador. Maracuya smoothies, maracuya juice, maracuya. So I went online and I looked at passion fruit exports, and basically, although Ecuador produces a large portion of the global passion fruit, they do not export it. They consume it, whether it's in their restaurants or in their farms or what have you. So I'm going to get more into what's happening on the farm when we have a snapshot. It's only been a month and a half, and it's been a lot of machines in there clearing because it was overgrown, and bringing in more labor. The men with the machete, they go through cutting with the machete. So it seems like that watching the farm change and transition into being a productive farm is very cool. Dad is still in Ecuador. He loves the climate. He loves the people. He loves our little hacienda with its bamboo and the pool and all. It's just a really neat spot. So that's why Ecuador. The other thing is Ecuador health is very affordable. They have a fairly high-ranked healthcare system, national healthcare system, that has free healthcare. If you want expedited care and you want to go ahead and get medical insurance, they told me it would be $18 a month. You can't beat that. The pharmaceutical situation in Ecuador is 3,000 times better than what we have in the United States. I get migraines. Some of you know that I get migraines. I was able to walk into the pharmacy, tell them I get migraines, and given a medication for migraines that works incredible. My dad ran out of lithium. I was able to go into the pharmacy, tell him how much lithium I needed and how many that he takes every month, and they just gave it to me. And the neat thing is we're talking $4 to $5 for the prescription. So you don't have a doctor. I think I told a story on Facebook where my dad was pretty sick in the beginning, which is why, again, we didn't go sailing. And once he got to Ecuador, he still just did not feel well. And we were able to arrange for a doctor to come to the condominium that we were staying at. And that doctor prescribed him with a bunch of medications. She called or sent a message to a taxi driver who was an hour away in Manta, where the bigger pharmacies are. She gave him a list of medications to pick up. He drove the hour. He picked up all the medications and paid for them. He drove the hour to get to the condominium, And then they got a nurse to run IV fluids for him. And the cost for the whole day, including the doctor, the meds, the taxi driver, the nurse, and the IV fluids that you also didn't need a prescription for, $260. I said what I said. So it's hard to resist. It's hard to resist not investing in a country that's that smart about living their lives and about providing services for their people. So it just so happens that in the middle of us being there, a civil war broke out, and there was a bunch of news, about shootings in Guayaquil and shootings because of the cartels. We never saw anything like that, and certainly didn't have any sense of fear to be afraid. We just kept going for a couple of days. Everybody sort of hunkered down, but then, well, I should tell the story. The night after the Civil War was declared and we were on lockdown, somebody was in the village. There were still people in the village partying, and they loved to shoot off fireworks. So somebody was shooting off fireworks, and apparently my dad thought it was gunfire, and the only thing he could come up with was a steak knife. So he's crawling around in the dark of the condominium with a steak knife, waiting to get ambushed. Okay. It's funny, but it's not funny. He was military. Probably why he's on lithium. So it's kind of funny. So we got we bought the farm. We moved into the farm, and we are continuously trying to get the farm planted and productive. So I came back to the States to get paperwork and the visa applications and all that. It is somewhat of a lengthy process, but also came back because I needed to see Bob. And now we have to sell our place in Keswick, so that's going to be coming up. We have a lot of things to get rid of, and we're going to sell that property, and then hopefully travel on Bob over the summer, spend some time in Chesapeake Bay. So that's kind of the update. And I've been babbling now for 18 minutes. So I wish I could be like live stream and get questions. But that's about it. If you're curious about where, if you look on Google Maps, you will look at Ecuador for a small town called San Vicente. And it's on the Chone River across from Bahia. If you go on YouTube, I'll try to find some links and take a look at the YouTube videos. There are people that do tours. I will put together drone footage of the farm, which I have done. And if you go onto the Saddles and Sales Facebook page, you will also see more stuff. I'm getting better about posting videos there during the week or when I'm not doing one of the big videos. So I think that's it. Oh, there is a Bofus. So we were driving back from town one day, and I saw something on the road, but I wasn't sure what it was, and I told the taxi driver to stop, and I looked over, and it was a dog that was gonna die. Basically, he was just skin and bones, and brought him home, took him to the vet, and again, same thing, took him to the vet. Vet gave him IV fluids, emergency care, and medications, and the flea pill. I think I want to say the vet was $40. It might have been $60. But still, you would have paid $800 for it in the United States. I'm just saying, it's really hard to not invest in a country that it's that easy to live in, and it's that easy to help others. So anyway, but I digress. So that's it. I'm gonna finish my coffee. I'm gonna go hang out with Bob. I will keep you posted on the Bob damages and repairs. I'm pulling off the band-aids tomorrow. I'm bummed about it. Anyway, good night, y'all. Peace out.